this thankful Thursday, October 5th, and welcome to an all new episode of Style by Stevie. Our guest today has been on the show twice. He is an award winning singer and songwriter, and I'm super excited to have him back so that we can catch up and see what he's been up to. Let's get into our interview today. I hope you guys are digging today's look. I wanted to do something a little edgy. Pamela Anderson, Bob Wire is definitely one of my style inspiration, as you guys can see for today. I wanted to do something a little bit different. But without further ado, let's welcome our incredibly talented guest with his third consecutive show appearance today, Stephen Voyce.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
Wonderful. How are you, stranger? It's been a minute. The last interview we did was in April, and this is for your album.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny because now we're doing another interview, and I'm about to release the extended version of the album. So I feel like every time something major happens in my career, you're there. I always appreciate that. So thank you.
Always, always. So we're gonna catch up. What have you been up to? That the album is out, The
Yeah,
Emancipation of
yeah,
Eve, and we did our last interview back in April, which would have been the springtime. We're now in the fall
yeah,
months now, and the
yeah.
year is halfway out. So what have you been up to? And I know you've been working with your artist also as well
hmm
too, getting her music out there too.
Yeah, so I've been working a lot with so Claudia Lenti's an artist I work a lot with. Jess Abram. There's a bunch of different artists in Montreal and just around the world that I like to collaborate with. Lucky De Niro from the US. I think he's from Atlanta. I think he's Atlanta. But since then, when the album came out and it was so well received by people, and I felt this immense amount of gratitude that I got inspired to keep recording, and I ended up recording new songs. And I got to a point where I realized like it's either I keep recording and I release a second album and I just like I feel like the Emancipation of Eze needs the time to continue to shine. And so I
Yes.
said rather than put out a new project, I will put out an extended version of the album with the new songs attached to it. So the extended version of the album is called The Emancipation of Eze Royal Edition, and it's coming out tomorrow actually with 7 new songs.
All right, you guys have it. All right, so for the second part of this album, what can people expect? I know the first one you gave us Scream, you gave us a number of hits on
Yeah.
the first part of this album. What can people expect on the second part?
So I feel like the first half was really about me as a person wanting to express what freedom means to me, and talking about the things in my life right now or at that time that where I felt like I was ready to move on to that next phase where I can take ownership of who I am. So I talked about the music industry, the good, the bad, the ugly. I talked about my mental health, the good, the bad, the ugly. But it was about so I think the title is interesting because it's called The Emancipation of Eze, and I think we talked about this last time where Eze means king in Igbo. Igbo is my traditional language. So it was like the emancipation of the king. It was like me coming into my own. And I feel like in this second part, I've I've since then embodied what it means to be the king that I am. And it's me now tackling the same subject matter, but from a different perspective of where I'm no longer that person that is feeling that isn't as unsure of himself. I'm a person that's very sure of who I am, and it reflects that in the song. So it's pretty interesting to see like the beginning and seeing where it ended up, and just seeing the evolution of myself as a creator. So I think people are gonna really like it. There's gonna be some fun songs, there's gonna be some very emotional songs, and yeah, that's it.
Now, the Emancipation of Eze, the first part,
hmm
you've given us some things on your take on, as you said, mental health. Talked
hmm
about and just talked about a number of things on the first part of this album. What does the present mean to you going into the future? Because, like I said in the beginning, the year is halfway out.
Yeah. So for me, it's where at the beginning of the year there were parts of my career or myself that I was unsure of. There was a lot of uncertainty, and there were kind of things I was figuring out. So as I was recording part of the album, there was a lot of figuring out, a lot of learning, a lot of doubts, a lot of going back and forth. But at the same time, meeting a lot of really great people that helped re-emphasize what I was trying to achieve. And I feel like I'm at a point where I've built a pretty awesome team that I can lean on and not feel like the pressure of the entire world is entirely upon me. And I've just reached a point where there's a lot more certainty. And I think the reception of the first of the album, first half of the album, really helped me see that. Because when I released it, I won't be. I'll be honest. I was afraid. It was like, how are people going to receive this? And seeing people just receive it the way they did, it
Right.
just sparked a fire inside me it's almost like it stoked the fire that was already there. And now I just feel like the flame is really burning, and honestly, nothing can stop me at this point.
And look at you now. The success is still there, and your fans are here in the audience. They are watching. So, do you think that your dreams are a reflection of something even deeper within mine?
Honestly, I think my dream has always just been to use my, well, not always, because there's a point in time where my entire dream was I just want to be famous. And as time went on, I realized that like there's more to life than that. And it's about connecting with others, about sharing your story, about like inspiring others to find themselves, and then using your platform to do something, to make an impact on this world. Like I want my life to mean something. I think that's everyone's dream, is we want our lives to have meaning. But I also want my life to impact others in a positive way that helps push the world forward. So I think that's what it is for me, is like my dream is to continue to use that platform to continue to grow, continue to be someone that holds himself accountable, and is not afraid to admit when I make mistakes, when I'm wrong. I never want to be someone that puts himself in a box and says like, no, this is the only way to be. Because I think the moment you stop yourself from learning is the moment you stop truly living.
Absolutely. What is one thing you would want a second chance with, as we talked about life?
Oh man, it's a second chance with. I don't know if I'd want a second chance at anything, because I feel like anything that you change impacts who you are, and
Yes,
impacts so many people around you. Like I can make a small change in my life and we may have never connected, and I wouldn't want that, because all these life experiences, even the ones that hurt, the ones that made me feel low, they still made me who I am. And I'm grateful for all the experiences, like all of them, because they are the reason why I am the person that is right here right now. And whatever happens in the future will be the reason I'll eventually be the next person I'll be. But so I don't want to change anything. If I could go back in time, I probably would just kind of stand in a corner and be like, nope, not touching anything, not touching anything.
so, what do you want people to take away from the second part of Emancipation of Essay?
Oh, I think it's in the name. I called it. I actually wrestled with what I wanted to call it, because I didn't want to call it like, oh, extended edition or something like that. I wanted it to be something just like really is impactful to what the album is about. And I just kept going back to the word is a king. And I was just like, you know what? Let's call this the royal edition, because this is the point where the prince has become the king, and he's now like, okay. And I think that's what I want people to get out of it, is to feel stronger, no matter where they are in their lives, no matter what they're going through. Everything that is around them, that is making them go through wherever they're going in their journey, is going to make them something. And that something is something to be proud of. And I think that's what I want people to get out of this, the second half, is just like there's growth. And it's really cool, honestly, to listen to the songs and to hear that growth, and then to see that point where like there's a big jump in like the growth, because like, oh wow, something happened between this point and this point, and you can hear it. And I feel like you can hear it in the songs, you can hear it in the way I'm singing, you can hear it in the way I'm writing. And I think that's really cool. So I think it's just about growth, it's about life. And I think that's what I want people to take out of it, is that like life is constantly in momentum.
And let me see, let me read some of you guys' comments. Americus, who is also an artist, he says, we're
Oh,
excited for the new album. Let's go, Stephen Voice.
hey, hold on, let me see. I forgot to scroll. I forgot to
Lucky De Niro
scroll.
is
Lucky De
also
Niro.
in the comments.
Hey, Lucky. So Lucky's who I was talking about. So Lucky, Lucky, correct me if I'm wrong. You're from Atlanta, right? You live in Atlanta. If you're not in Atlanta, I'm so sorry. But Lucky is an amazing artist. So okay, so Lucky De Niro is actually on the album. He and Claudia Lenti are the two artists on the album that are both in the first half and the second half. They are in both. So Lucky's in two songs on the album. One from the first half called "Demotion," which you heard, and then the second one. I'm not gonna spoil anything yet, but like he's in the second one. He's actually on the last song of the album as a whole. Yeah. And Amadeus, man, amazing dancer. I've been following his career recently, and he's an amazing dancer, very inspiring person. So people go check him out.
He says, yes, I'm from
Oh,
Atlanta.
there it is. I knew it. I knew it. Atlanta.
So with this album, because we've listened to your music from Summer Learns to Tap Your Feet and other singles that you
Mhm.
put out, Scream, which are more up tempo. This album seems, and I said this to you when we did our last interview, and before you announced that it was coming out, I said this one seems a little bit more personable to you.
Yeah.
So do you see the evolution of yourself with and everything that you've been through, that you've put it all into this project, revealing it to the world? What do you want people to take away from life's lessons of this album?
I think the lesson is that you can take ownership of yourself.
Mm,
And I think when I first started my career, well, not first started, but when my mainstream career really began, which was back in 2018 with the song "Summer Lust" and then "Tap Your Feet," um, there were points in my career where like I wanted to do a lot more, but I was guided in many different directions, and there was too many voices in my head, people telling me like, "Oh, but like you should only do songs like Summer Lust and the songs like Tap Your Feet and all that stuff." And
more
so I felt like, okay, well, like,
up tempo,
yeah, more up
right?
tempo, all the, the only pop songs. And I felt like, yeah, like that's a part of me. Like those kind of songs that MJ, like, that vibe, that's me as well. But there's also a very emotional side of me that has feelings, that hurts, that feels,
Yeah.
expresses darkness and wants to let that out. And my career was actually born from those songs, like the songs that had heavy emotions. And then when I got to the mainstream part of my career, I felt like a lot of people wanted me to suppress that and kind of just stick to the mainstream stuff. And so I felt like, sure, this is hitting amazing, but like a part of me feels it was left behind. And I feel with this project, it was me, it was like a justification for me to be like, I know people want to see all sides of me, not just the one side. They want to see it all. And going back to when I said this album, when it came out, it really it filled me with a fire. One of the songs on the album, on the first half, called "Stand by You," is a very emotionally driven song, and that's a song that's the first time Spotify ever added me to one of their official playlists. Like Spotify added that song, and so for me, that was just like, oh my gosh, like this is one of those songs where a lot of people back then in my circle would have said like, this is not the one to put forward. But like here it was suddenly being put forward by powers beyond me, and I was just like, wow. And even the Motion won an award called the Academia Award for like best R&B track with Lucky De Niro. So like, and that was another very emotionally driven, emotional like song that really just embodied my person and like my emotions and was very personal. And so to see these songs, the ones that were like the non-pop ones, elevate, man, that really made me realize, like, you know what? You know yourself. Never ever let anyone make you doubt yourself again. And I think that's what the second half of the album represents, is that like the world has shown you that you were right. So keep on going.
Absolutely. Let me read some of you guys' comments. Lucky De Niro says it's always the songs you don't like that the wild gonna love. Gonna learn that one too. And he says versatile. Emmanuel David Noel Solanges says
Oh,
voice for presidents. Love Parfum says kiss Brazil. Kisses from Brazil. I am your fan, Stephen. I love your voice.
I appreciate y'all. That is so much
All of
love.
this love.
That is so much love. It honestly, it's a blessing, and I'm lucky I get to create with amazing people like Lucky De Niro, Claudia Lenti, Jess Abram, um, There's an artist that I worked with on this album. So funny thing, her name is Tabiosha. She actually released an EP earlier this year, actually maybe a month ago. A really, really, really dope EP. We had actually worked together like I want to say 4 years ago, if not five, before the pandemic. We worked together on a song, and the song just never got to see the chance in the light of day. And it was just because of where I was in my career and like the people I was attached to, and it was like too many channels had to like shake hands for things to happen. But finally, we got to work on a song together, like that is out, and well, it's coming out, and it's on this project, and it's called I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna spoil it. I want people to enjoy it. I want people
Stay
to
tuned.
enjoy it. I want people to enjoy it. But it's like I think it's a really fun song, and I enjoyed creating it, and I was so excited when she came into recording parts. Anyway, y'all will see. You will see.
Love says she listens to all of your music,
Aw.
and she says on these platforms, I am in love with your music, Steve. I
Ah.
listen to all of you on these platforms, and I'm in love with their music. That's powerful because this album, did you ever expect the response? People expect songs like
Yeah.
Scream, but the ballads, the songs where it gets more deeper and personable. Did you ever think creating these songs, going in the studio, making the music for this particular project, that people would give the responses that they're giving to the even more personal songs, the ballads?
Honestly, I had no idea what to expect, but I know that I was a little scared. Actually, so when Scream came out and then it was followed by Time, Time is another very emotional song.
That's one of my
Thank you. See,
favorites. It's beautiful.
that means everything. So Time is a very emotional song. It's a song that came out of me when it really needed to come out. And when I followed it, when it came out after Time, I sorry after Scream, I was nervous. I was just like, oh man, I just gave them Scream. I just gave them like, you can scream about it, lose your mind about it, and then I was gonna follow with something slow that made you think, and made you feel something, and made you think about life. And I was just like, oh man, what if they don't, are not receptive to it? But people were, and all those like wrong lessons that were drilled into my brain, those lessons that were just like, oh, you only need to show people this much of yourself. Like you can't show them the wide breadth of who you are because they're gonna get confused. All of that went out the window, and I just realized I can be all that I am. And I just said, no, and that inspired me to just I remember that there was a 2 week period where I just locked myself in my studio and I just recorded. I just recorded, and that's how the Emancipation of Eze was born. After Scream and Time came out, I just felt this fire from the reception of both songs. Like both of them were doing equally well. And I said, like, I just want to put it all out there. And so I did. And then when people received that and were just like, man, this is awesome. Like it's so cool to get tagged in stories on songs that I did not expect people to tag me on. It's just like this song, oh man, like because for me it means everything, but to see it mean a lot to other people, it's just like that is awesome. So so much gratitude, so grateful. And that's why I'm excited for the Royal Edition. I had to do it. I had to like I felt like the album needed a bigger close, and I just wanted to close it off. And so I feel like this is the close it deserves, and I hope people enjoy it.
Are we going to get visuals for the second part of this project?
Yep. So we haven't. It's funny because before, whenever I'd release a song, I'd always want to film the music videos before the songs came out. Now I'm enjoying letting the songs come out, letting people enjoy them, and then from there, I get to also be influenced by which one will be made a music video. Like I didn't think about making "Stand by You" a music video for "Stand by You" until the album came out, and it got all this love and attention. I was just like, I guess this is the one. So I went off and did the music video. So in a sense, like this is my album and also the album that belongs to everyone that likes my music. And so like you help me dictate where what components I'm going to add and sprinkle into it. So we'll see which ones. I already have an idea, but we'll see what people gravitate towards most because you never know.
All right. And Lucky De Niro just put it in the comments. The album drops, part two drops tomorrow. And my mom's birthday is Saturday. This is the day before my mom's birthday. So
Oh,
this is special. So make sure you guys go and check it out on all platforms. Now, what do you think makes life more meaningful? for you, because you've been through the ups and downs throughout the past few years, even with this particular project, you've discussed that.
Yeah.
What do you think for people out here watching makes life more meaningful?
Okay, well, first things first, happy birthday to your mom. uh, what makes life memorable and more meaningful? Honestly, I think I've said this before, but it's moments like these, these interactions, like getting to talk to you before a project comes out means so much more to me than I don't know, all the fancy things and whatever, because like I get to talk to someone that is a genuine soul, and that means all that means everything. So for me, it's when you put yourself out there, when you make yourself vulnerable, you know, the right people will gravitate towards you, and then you will gravitate towards them, and before you know it, you've built this like beautiful relationship with like-minded souls. And I feel honored to know that I can just like text you and be like, hey, how you doing? Like, and it just feels good. So I think that's what it is. I think the right connections and just making great connections, like, like I said, like with people like Jess Saber and Lucky De Niro. And I think I met Lucky De Niro actually one of our interviews. I think because we were following each other on Instagram, and I think it was one of our interviews together where he came on. I was just like, oh my gosh, Lucky De Niro. I was like, he's in the room. And I was like, hey man, we should work together. And like he wrote me, and we wrote together. We started working together. So like this is what I mean when you connect with the right people, the world just kind of starts to connect more amazing dots.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And what are some of the mind blocks and difficulties that you've overcome throughout the past few years? Because I know it's been challenging.
Yeah, yeah. I think it was finally embracing who I am from a mental perspective. Like, where do
Mm.
I lie on the mental spectrum, or whatever you want to call it? And I always kind of felt like, because I always knew that I had OCD, but I hadn't been diagnosed. But I recently did get diagnosed, and things like that were challenging. Where like, it became sometimes it's you get so caught up in your brain, and you get caught up on the small details, and they kind of repeat themselves, and you get intrusive thoughts and all that on those unpleasant things. So those are the mind blocks, but being able to share them in the album, I don't necessarily say it, but I talk about it without saying it. And I think that helped me feel like people can truly see me for who I am. I'm not this perfect being. I'm not this person that has everything figured out. I'm not like, I doubt myself. I run in circles. Like, I'll tell you a story. Like, this album, the second half, I submitted for distribution, and I would still listen to it, and I would realize, oh, there's a small thing I'd want to change. So I would message my distributor and be like, hey, can we pull it back so I can refix that? And I did it like 3 times. I did it 3 times. That's just how my brain gets into the nitty gritty details. And sometimes the little details just don't matter. And so that can be a little bit punishing inside myself, where I'm constantly just criticizing myself. So those are the roadblocks where I have to learn how to like sit with the feeling and sit with the discomforts and allow myself to just, accept that not everything is within my control.
And you're like myself, and we both have that in common. We're both
Yeah.
perfectionists. Whatever it is that we sit, it can be the most decent. If I'm designing something and I see a piece of thread or something, I'm
Yeah.
gonna pull it,
Hmm.
and it's gonna come apart, and I'm just like, okay, I need to redo this
Yeah.
again. So we both have that same mindset where it's like we like things to be perfect.
Yeah.
And as an artist or creative, you want your vision to come to
Yeah.
fruition. So I definitely understand that. And Lucky De Niro says, or when you make me fix things, LOL. I got back like 3 times. So same bro, same.
I think that's great. Is like, people don't talk about mental health enough, and it's almost like taboo. But the second you start talking about it, you start to realize that so many people struggle with similar things, and if we just talk about it, then suddenly people feel less alone, and it becomes not taboo, but just something to talk about. And maybe that's how we start to heal and grow, or come up with ways to cope. But we have to be willing to talk about it. So, I appreciate platforms like this where you're an advocate for mental health, and we just get to talk about it. So I appreciate you.
And it's imperative that we make sure that we are taking care of ourselves
Yeah.
mentally. Um, Aaron, the writer, did I say it right? Let me know. I don't want to butcher anyone's name. Aaron, the writer, said, "Hey, Stephen."
Hey, hey. Hey, I wish I could. I can't. Is it this? A comment stop for me, so I can't see beyond a certain point. I can't see beyond Lucky De Niro saying, "Yes, I'm from Atlanta." That's the last thing I see. So I'm missing all the good stuff.
Yes, your fans are coming in from all over the world, from Brazil to all over. Now, watching this project, seeing your videos, seeing your visuals, what else can people expect from you in the future? Because I know the year is just about halfway out.
Yeah. Yeah, so what do I spoil? There's a lot. Honestly, it's crazy when it's to the point where when songs are released with me featured on them or like with me and another artist, we have to kind of think about like where another project is so that we don't like put things on top of each other. But there is a little two-song projects coming out with my best friend in the world, Jess Abram. Jess Abram is coming out on. I guess I'm gonna spoil it here. It's called Clash of Gaia, and it's a completely different departure from what you're gonna hear on this album on the Emancipation of Eze. Completely different departure because whenever me and Jess create, we just create a whole different universe. And it's called Clash of Gaia, and it's gonna come out on Halloween. I will start officially
That's my
talking about it.
birthday. About to be.
Hey, there it is. You see, I feel like releasing on a day before your mom's birthday and a day and then on your birthday, it's just meant to be. Um, so yeah, so it's Classic Gaia, October 31st. And yeah, it's a two-song project that I really, really can't wait for people to hear. I'll start officially talking about it probably in the next 2 weeks. But yeah, you get everyone on and watching this right now gets the exclusive that something is coming soon.
There you are. You have it. All right, fashion dolls. So, with that being said, throughout the ups and downs, now that you've completed this project, the first and the second part, how are you protecting your mental peace? Because I know it was a lot putting all of your personal, all of your blood, sweat, and tears into this project, especially, and I can give you an example. Your sound is so much like
Yeah,
Michael. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I've heard him in interviews as well as Janet. She said for one of her albums, which was Velvet Rope, she said it was very personal to her. She almost didn't record the
yeah.
album. So for you, how are you maintaining mental health after recording this project and recuperating and getting back to yourself? Because I know it must have took a lot out of you to go through the ups and downs of your life and in these
Yeah.
songs.
Um, I think it's I'm lucky I have a wonderful partner, Oral Marzo, and after big projects like this, she just helps me online. Like we go out, go for walks, go do things together, just do something completely different. And I have really great friends in Montreal, like Nir Gazinski, Jess Abram again, Maxime Denis. These are really great friends of mine that are also in the creative space, and so we understand each other. We understand like the weight of what it means to like create and put things out there. So whenever we release things or do these massive projects, we just go out and just do something completely different. Just go play, mini putt or like go watch a movie, just stuff like that. Just go do regular things. So like honestly, usually the day of a release, I do everything but pay attention to the release. Like I release it and I go, I'm not gonna look at anything for the next 24 hours. I'm gonna come back and see y'all the day after, but I'm gonna go do a bunch of other things because I need to just like let it go and let y'all receive it without my frantic like insecurities.
And it feels good when you've released
Yeah,
it, when
yeah,
you put it on paper, when you put it in a song. It goes back to what you just said when we talk about mental health. It's finding an outlet that works for you,
yeah,
and music is your outlet. You've given that to people. So your song can be inspirational to the next person or uplift, and that's the purpose of it. So, how would you describe the last year in 3 words, and what would be the 3 words for the coming year of 2024? What are you ready for?
Oh man, so the last 3 words of the last year. So for sure, challenging, uh, introspective, but also release. It was a lot of of letting go. And I'm going to put one more, acceptance, and one more, 5. I'm going to put omnipotence. Because I feel like I discovered my power this year. Like in so many ways, I found my power. And what I look forward to the next year? Is that the question?
In the present year.
The
Yeah, 3 words.
3 words. Well, I'm just go continued growth. I guess that's 2 words. But continued growth, happiness, and exploration. I want to keep on exploring.
And it is definitely a journey.
It
So the
is.
Emancipation of Eze is out. It will be dropped. Part 2 will be dropping tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the date of my mom's 20th. I'm going to say 20 because I want to live. I want to be able to do this talk show for y'all. So we're going to say her 20th birthday
20th birthday.
tomorrow.
Perfect.
Yeah. Lucky Hero says 2024 Steven and Lucky album on the way. No cap.
Yeah, we have to do it. Lucky Nair and I don't, how many songs? I think we have like 6 songs together. It's crazy how quickly we work, really quickly. So like, yeah, honestly, we have enough material now to drop an album if we wanted to tomorrow. It'd be awesome.
I can't wait. If you guys collab and do a joint album together, I would definitely be
Oh
there.
yeah.
I'm manifesting it in the future. So I don't know when you guys get in the studio and you work your magic. We, the listeners, the viewers of the music, that sound is what draws us all together. So
It
I
means a
can't
lot.
wait.
Well, you know it's gonna happen now. It's gonna happen. It has to happen.
All right, let me see. My Island Yankee says I actually did an audio of me singing when I do background vocals. So he sent that to you, Steven. All right.
Okay. 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 All right.
Do we have any questions for myself or Steven Fashion Dolls? We are talking about what you guys can expect for this new project, Emancipation of Eze, which will part 2 will be dropping tomorrow. So make sure you guys go and check it out on all platforms. Part 1 is already out, so you can listen to songs like Time and Scream and so many others. The album is just innovative. And I told Steven that when he first told me I'm working on a project, and I had to keep it under wraps. But then he on and we talked about it. It was the day of his album release.
Yeah.
I think the day before his album release. And we talked about the project, and I said how much of an impact and how revolutionary and innovative this project was compared to some of the past hits that he's done, which are more up-tempo, whereas this one is more personable. And for an artist to be able to tap into that vulnerable side and get the world inside to know. A lot of artists have been doing it for years, and I can go down a list of artists who tap into just personal life experience, and it's difficult for them to record an album. Mary J. Blige is one of them. It's like when she sings, you feel her pain.
Yeah.
Billie Holiday was definitely one of them. Sade is like, for her music, it gives you an oasis, an escape. It just wants you to forget about the world. Michael sung about what was going on in the world and just his personal life experience. Janet, the same thing. And I know it must have been painful for all of these artists, great artists that I've mentioned, to have to be able to tap into that side for you. So that's why I asked you that question, because I know it's draining mentally to have to go back to that place. And it's just like, oh boy, I don't want to go here again. I want to be in a happy place. I don't want to have to relive the past. But in order to get to the pretty, you have to go through the ugly. And I tell people that all the time.
Well said. That is so absolutely true. I mean, you can't appreciate the good if you don't know what the bad feels like. So
absolutely. Aaron the writer says awesome. So do we have any questions for myself or Steven? I'm so happy to be catching up with you. This is our 3rd consecutive interview.
Yep.
We've already did 2.
Yep.
This is our 3rd one.
Yep. And we're gonna make it to 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. We're gonna keep going. Just gonna keep. I can't wait for the day that we get to do this in person. I really cannot wait for the day. I cannot wait. I can't wait. One day I'm gonna be putting out a project and some some company is going to be financing the thing. I'm going to tell them like, we got to fly you down. We're going to sit down together. We're going to put you in like some epic hotel and we're just going to do this. It'd be awesome.
All right. Oh my God. Shout outs to the baddest hairstylist on the land. If you are in the RVA area, shout outs to my girl Rage. Now, she does custom hair colors, she does nails, she does makeup, she does it all. So, y'all, please go and check her out. She is so talented. I've known Rage for years. Definitely go and check her out. And I see you guys eyeballing the blonde. She can hook you up. Y'all go
Hey,
and check Rage out.
hey.
uh, we got a question for you.
Okay.
Kales Miko, did I pronounce it right? He
Oh,
says, how
okay.
would you describe yourself when you are deep into your creative process?
Oh man, I become neurotic and obsessed. Like I just hone in and that is all I do. Like when I was working on the first half and this second half of the album, the moments of recording were just like locked myself in my studio and like I didn't care what time of day it was. I forgot to eat. I forgot to message people back. I was just like, this is what I'm doing. And I get so obsessed into like every little detail. But at the same time, it's like you're pouring yourself out. So it's therapeutic and so
Yeah,
you feel this release. So it feels good. At the same time, it pulls you into very dark places sometimes. So it gets heavy. But then you get to release that into the world. But like, I really become very focused and I pay attention to the most minute details. Like I will sit down and listen to like one word in a verse and just the way I sang it and go like, is this what I want it to sound like? Like I will re-record something even though it's perfect pitch, perfect key, perfect like note, all perfection. I will re-record it just because it's not exactly the way I hear it in my head. And I want to be able to listen to my songs and sing along to them in my head and if what I'm singing along to is not matching what I'm hearing, it'll frustrate me. So I get into this like little nitty gritty details, and I'll ask Oro to come in and be like, "What do you think about this?" And she'd be like, "It's perfect." I'm like, "No, it's not." So it's just like it's a whole process, but I enjoy it because I feel like that's when we're the most alive is when we're doing that thing that we absolutely know is what we were put on this planet to do.
Lemmy says, you guys are looking amazing. I am one of your biggest fans,
Uh,
Stephen, and please respond. I got you comment. I'm reading your comments, my love. And hey, girl, hey, Rage. It's been a minute if you are still here. Again, she is the baddest hairstylist in the RVA area. Like, I've seen this girl do every hair color under the rainbow. You guys talk about me switching from black to blonde to red. She's had every hair color too, from green to orange to blue. She's so talented. So y'all please go and check her out. OMG, I like your makeup. Special thanks to my makeup artist, Melanie. She gets me right every
oh
time.
dear.
I couldn't disappoint with this interview.
I
um,
appreciate you.
Love Parfum says, I love you, Stephen.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Love you too. I love you too. I love you too.
Now, this in case you guys missed it, the second part of Emancipation of As a drops tomorrow, and it's going to be
Tomorrow.
on all streaming platforms. So you guys can go pre-order ahead.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys go and check it out the day of, and check out the first part as well too, so you can check out Time and Scream, some of my favorite songs
So
on the first part.
this version will actually have all of them. So from beginning to end. So like just you'll get to go through it's a 17 song experience with seven new songs right at the end.
Mm, all right, there you have it, Fashion Dolls. So do we have? I see you all are still. You guys are still coming in. Welcome, welcome. Do we have any questions for myself or Stephen? We are talking about this new album, Emancipation of Aze, which is out on all platforms right now. Part two will be dropping tomorrow. And you guys know that it's my and my mom's birthday month. So this is before my mom's birthday. Her birthday is this Saturday. So mine's is Tuesday, the 31st, Halloween. So we got something very special planned. So stay tuned. I have a surprise for you guys.
Oh damn.
But
Oh
I
damn.
can't reveal it. So y'all stay tuned for that. But definitely go and check out this project. It is powerful, and it goes to show you through all of the ups and downs that we as people encounter in real life. It doesn't matter what stature or level your or walk of life you're. And I'm pretty sure there's a song on there that resonates to each and every one of us
There's a lot.
personally. I know Cream is mine because there have been times where I try to be so
Yeah.
composed. I always try to be composed in certain situations where it's just like, you're not getting my point. My voice is not being heard. So definitely. And time also as well too, where it takes you back to that place where it's just like, oh my God, am I really, really here? Is this real? So yeah, I need you guys to go and check the album out, Emancipation of Azzy, which is out now. Oh no, we lost Steven. And thank you, Lemmy. Thank you. Okay, let me add him back. And you guys get to see the outfit a little bit better today.
Sorry about that.
All right.
Instagram booted me. Instagram was like, bye.
And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. IG is true. Pick Steven. That's crazy.
Instagram was like, this conversation is too good. Bye.
Hi, Steve. Hi, everyone. Welcome. If you're just coming in, we are here with Stephen Voyce, and we're talking about his project, The Emancipation of Azzy. Again, in case you guys, for those who have missed it, the project drops tomorrow. Part 2 of the project drops tomorrow, and it's going to have 17 tracks. So it is going to be a journey. You're going to see the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows of Stephen as he talks about his life. And I'm pretty sure all of these songs can resonate with us in some way. I was saying about Scream.
Yeah.
Scream for me in certain places, even from a career standpoint, it's just like you can't say, it's like I can't say certain things, but I can. And in a way, it's just like, how do I say it without being indirect or,
Yeah.
in that way? But that one resonates with me the most. And of course, Time does too, because it comes from a very personable place with being able to open up and share that side of people, that side of yourself to people. And
Yeah.
it's difficult for me. I try to be as transparent with people at times, but music helps and it's powerful.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Any last minute questions or thoughts, Fashion Dolls, before we close out? It's always a good time catching up with Stephen. Again, this is our third interview. The last interview we did was back in April during the spring. The months are going to be getting cooler soon, and the year is halfway out. So 2023, how would you sum up 2023 in 3 words for yourself, Stephen?
All right. 2023. Um, it was a very hopeful year, and it inspired me, and so hopeful, inspiration, and it also gave me aspirations for the future. So aspirations, hopefulness, or hopeful, inspired, and aspired, or aspiring.
For me, I would sum it up in 2 words. I would say emotional roller coaster because we've
Mm-hmm.
had our highs, we've
Mm-hmm.
had our lows,
Mm-hmm.
we've had our losses. We lost so many people
Yeah.
and gained new people. My nephew has been born, ladies and
Ah.
gentlemen. Yes, he is so beautiful. He's like a baby doll, and he looks just like my brother. He looks like myself and my brother, and it is so crazy because I got the call the morning. He called me in the morning time and he surprised me, FaceTime me. And he called me and I was working on a puzzle, looking at a hairstyle magazine or doing something. And he called me and he said, is mom and dad there? Because he didn't want me to tell them yet. I was the first person to see my nephew. And I said, oh my God, he's so beautiful. He looks just like a baby doll. And he was doing this little thing with his hands. So I said, oh,
Ah.
yep, he's got your personality already. My brother is a Cancer and I'm a Scorpio. We already know our personalities. He's more outspoken than me. He's always been the most outspoken one out of the bunch. But then I just came along and tagged along. He was like, Tag, you're it. So it rubbed off on me. But yes, my nephew is here and he is so beautiful. And I fell in love with him. So I can't wait to hold him. I know the mom his girlfriend, she's like my baby sister.
Uh,
You gotta wait till he gets a little bit older though, because you know with
yeah,
the pandemic and everything, yeah. But
yeah.
he is healthy, he's here, he's beautiful, he's so tiny, and he looks just like my brother.
That's
So
beautiful. Well, congratulations to
uh,
you and your family.
yes, and auntie duties is a must.
It's 100%.
So I'm excited for that. And we just had so many losses, so many gains in the year. You
Yeah,
know, my nephew is here, and it with me turning 30, because I'm about to be 30, is like a whole new outlook on life.
yeah,
So this album has helped me, Stephen, and I told you that before when we did our interview when
yeah,
you promoted it on.
yeah.
I said this album has helped me in a way, and I'm pretty sure that it's going to touch and impact other people's lives too. So,
Wow,
um,
wow. That honestly, that right there is exactly why I do this. Like it's knowing how people resonate with it and knowing that it touches and it helps. I think that's the most beautiful thing in life is knowing that you're making, like I said before, an impact in this world and a positive one. So I'm very grateful that it resonates with you.
yes, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys at home are watching and listening have seen Steven's music videos, and it's just like, wow, this music has had an impact on me also too. And that's the message when music is out
Hmm.
here. It touches,
Hmm.
resonates with acting in a way. But you're writing, you're penning your
Yeah,
thoughts, and you're sending it out to the world. And it's just like, I've been there. So you could be acting, you could be doing anything.
yeah,
Always find an outlet. And before we close out this interview, because I see we don't have any other questions, do we have any other questions for myself or Steven? I'm going to give you guys the final word of the day. And the final word of the day comes from Bell Hooks. To be truly visionary, we have to root our imagination in our concrete reality, while simultaneously imagining possibilities beyond that reality. And that comes from Bell Hooks.
wow,
She is an author. She is a new. And I tell people this all the time: dream in
yeah,
color. I've I never try to live life bland or dull. If you're going for a career move, go for the gusto, honey,
hmm,
because you only get one life to live.
hmm,
And opportunities. Hey, K2, shout outs to my brother K2. He's the host of the K2 Spot. So make sure you guys go and check him out as well. Amazing talk show and platform. And we've done a couple collaborations together. So he's always there and encouraging me, along with Island Yankee, as well as Steven is encouraging me sometimes as well, too. So make sure you guys go and check out that platform. Amazing. But we're talking about imagining in
yeah,
reality, going beyond the imagination above approach. When going into a new career field or just a new change or outlook on life, you see things differently than the way you was before.
hmm,
And I've learned for me growing into my own, into my adulthood throughout the past few years, it's like, okay, you're about to be 30. This is a wake up call for you. And to be honest, I said it to myself. I said, I'm kind of scared because when you hit 30, it's like a light bulb goes off. You're no longer in your teens and 20s. Once you hit 29, that's it. You are in your own officially as an adult,
hmm,
30. And it's just like I see a brighter outlook on life. I see a
yeah,
different change. The things that I would do when I was 19 or maybe 17, I would say I wouldn't do now, but
yeah,
I've learned from mistakes. And it goes back to a point that Stephen made in the beginning of the interview, which is the past. I'm not my past. I'm going to move forward to the present. So things haunt me, but I found an outlet, and my outlet is fashion. My outlet is writing. My outlet is
yeah,
talking to impact people's lives. And hopefully people take the message and get it out there that it's okay to make mistakes and or perfect things, because I've discovered that I would have never known talking to Stephen from both of our interviews that he's a perfectionist like myself. But when it comes to artistry and craft, you guys got to understand where we're coming from. You
hmm,
want things to be perfect.
yeah,
And even for me, when it comes to dressing or doing an interview, I want things to run smoothly. I try to be on time. I try to be punctual because punctuality is key. And image is everything.
yeah,
So even for us being the creators, for those of you out there who are also perfectionists, who have that dose of OCD, because I know it's on me bad. My
Mm.
brother that had the baby, he went in the military, and I think it just like, again, tag, you're it. It rubbed off
Yeah.
on me. Everything's got to be spotless. Everything's got to be in place. Everything has to be perfect. And my mom is just like, get it, girl, get a grip. It's not always, you're going to have mistakes sometimes. And that is what makes us human,
Yeah.
is that the fact that we're able to go and make these mistakes and correct them. So,
That's
yep,
beautiful.
that is it, Fashion Dolls. So, Stephen, any final thoughts before we conclude our catch up?
Listen, I just feel like at this point, this is a ritual that I love. Every time something new comes out that's major in my life, I get to talk to you. So like, it's just like a very important ritual, and it's embedded into my brain now. Like from like any time something is gonna happen that's gonna be a major impact for my career, I'm messaging you. I'm like, hey, hope you have a spot for me because we got to talk the day before.
And many more, and many more, and many more. I have lots of spots for you. You're always welcome. So, are there any encouraging words that you would like to leave from your to your fans and supporters, because they are all coming in from all over the world and they're
Yeah,
watching us as we catch up?
yeah. I just feel like just remember to believe in your magic.
Mm,
There's that spark that we have when we're kids. It's like this. You're talking about it before, about like believing, like finding a way to bring your imagination and the real world together. It's just as kids we have this wild and vivid imagination, and I think as we get older we start to push that aside and kind of focus on the realism of things. But what makes the world better is when we go back to those crazy wild ideas and we go like, but what if it could be possible? Never lose sight of that part of your brain that says, but what if? And then find that fire in you to find a way to bring that thing in your brain and make it real. Because whatever that is probably your truest calling. Whatever it is in your brain that you keep dreaming about, you keep thinking about, that magic, once you find a way to grasp it, that's when you truly start living. So don't lose your magic, don't lose that fire, hold on to it, and never let anyone tell you that something is impossible. If you dare to dream, you can dare to make it real. That's just my thought.
and it's so funny you say dare, because that was actually one of the words, I'm looking at it on my vision board across the room, that I put on my vision board is dare. Um, and you said going through passion through fire. I tell people to live life through fire all the time. Take a walk on the wild side and just live life to the fullest. Live
Yep.
life in color, as I said earlier. When it comes to making moves, and especially career wise or just life changing,
Mm-hmm.
it can be scary, but the key thing is to jump. Sometimes it might be uncomfortable, but I'm used to it. And one of my affirmations that I say in the morning when I get up, because my ritual is I pray, I talk to God, and I do my morning affirmations. One of the affirmations is I am capable of handling anything that comes my way, no matter how big or small. And
Yep.
trust me, I've had to start over and begin again. Some of the greats have had to start over and begin again, and there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with it. So that's
No.
my final point.
I love that. I love that. I love how we're always in sync.
Yeah, all the time.
Always.
All right, fashion dolls. Without further ado, our very special guest, Stephen Voice. Let everyone know where they can follow you and check out the Emancipation of Aze. Part 2 drops tomorrow. The album is out on all streaming platforms.
Absolutely. So you can, I mean, if you're following me on Instagram, you probably know everything there is to know about me because I post everything there. So Instagram, whatever it is here, Stephen Voice, just click it, follow, and that's the main hub. That's where I post everything. Everything else will trickle down from there. So just Instagram, follow me there, and you'll know all that there is.
All right, fashion dolls. Joining me tomorrow, we have another music crooner that is coming in the building from multi-platinum award-winning groups, Men of Vision and Riff. We have Nitty Green joining me tomorrow, fashion dolls,
Oh,
and it is going to be on Flashback Friday. So you got Stephen Voice on Thursday, and you got Nitty Green on Friday. Two music icons here on Style by Stevie. So make sure you guys tune in tomorrow at 4. I love you all, and I will see you then. Take care, everyone.
I